I want to thank the grace of heaven, virtue of enlightening master, also mercy of our transmitters and the confidence placed by our senior lecturers and all of you for the opportunity to share the topic with you. I hope through this presentation, I can relay to you, the wisdom of, a sage who has, we say timeless wisdom, okay? And the topic is the noble man as depicted in the Annelids. Okay, so a superior person, or we call a noble person, is one who has very good virtue, who is very well-mannered, and has also demonstrated the five constants. Sometimes it's also one who's make some progress in the way of the Tao or in the cultivation. We are in this era, okay, and instead of people who are cultivating in previous eras, like the green or the red era, they were kind of cultivating by themselves, meditating in the depth of, the forest, or maybe in, high hilltop, of the monastery of the, mountain top. We should be among the people. We should cultivate in the midst of people. Holidays here. And the atmosphere is also in the air. But I guess this year's holiday, people are going to feel quite different. Now we are not celebrating the holiday without any worry at all. There's still, the ISIS is still threatening with more terrorist acts, right? So everything's a change. And so many countries are strategizing anti-terrorist measures, but few realize that actually the root cause of all the societal problems and also human conflicts are really deeply rooted in the heart. A famous British historian, Arnold Toynbee, once expressed a very enlightened and wise view. He said, the problems facing human society in the 21st century can best be solved, or that can only be solved by the Oriental philosophy and religion, Taoism, Buddhism, and Confucianism. Yeah, that's why, a noble person, or we say a superior person, a person of good virtue, can shape, can turn around the social morale. It can also help advance the social morale. Okay. In spite of the so many upsetting news and all these stories of bloodshed, I think the society is also progressing, and we also have heard a lot of poignant stories of love and kindness. Yeah, right. Such a very recent news story is Mark Zuckerberg, who pledged a donation of 99% of his Facebook shares to charity. He's not donating to any charity organization, but he's going to manage that, asset, and they will be used in courses helping develop human potential, medical care, and things like that. Okay, and actually, we also have heard a lot of little angels who are helping people. There was this young girl of 7. Her name is Catherine Kamal. She was only 7. In one of the class, she heard that some of the African countries are so afflicted by malaria, and the only solution to that problem is, the epidemic, is to have a medicated mosquito nets, and each of them costs about $10, more or less. So she was, it got her thinking, and once her teacher called her mother and said, "Oh, your daughter is not turning in the lunch fee." Okay, so she her mother, Linda, talked with her and found out she's keeping the money to buy the net for the people in African countries. And she said, from now on, can I just have them? I'm going to skip my snack or lunch, but I like to have the money to donate to these people. And her story, became publicized, and later on she was able to join hands with Bill Gates, with what's that? David Beckman, right? The famous. Yeah. Beckham. Yeah. Okay. I think also who else? All the celebrities were already engaged in charity, and so a 7-year-old can save millions of lives, and that's a very powerful, a very powerful example of, we say human benevolence, caring. Okay, now back to the topic today. A noble person. We know it's a person who has good virtue, and the Annelids is one of the 4 books in Confucianism, as Johnny already mentioned. And in this Annelids, you can say it's almost like a guideline or a manual for a person, a human being, to live in this world, to live a very fulfilling, a very all-serving life in this world. And it also gives us a guideline in how to become a person of virtue. How can we be of service to others in what we think, in what we do, in what we talk about. Okay. Now, just briefly on the Annelids. This is a collection of the teaching of Confucius to his disciples on almost all aspects of life, including the cultivation. It was actually composed or compiled by Confucius' disciples probably after his death. They were all together 20 chapters with over 400 paragraphs. One thing I need to mention is that some of the ideas or some of the important themes are repeated throughout the Annelids. So there are more than 400 paragraphs, but some of them are expressing the same message, the same idea. Okay, and Confucianism has become, the Annelids and also all other Confucian classics have become, timeless classic, and they are often used by a lot of schools and institutions in Asian countries, as we say like guidelines for conduct, for thinking and things like that. Okay. Now, when Confucius talk about a noble person, he intends it as a very high compliment. He rarely, pass that compliment to, just anyone. It's someone who he had high regard, that he would label that person as a noble person. Okay, and as I said before, a noble person is one who has embodied, the Tao. Who demonstrate Tao in his behavior, in how he interacts with people, and it's a person who has, always say, demonstrate the 5 constants. Remember the 5 constants, right? Yeah. Okay. Anyone who want, just so that everyone has an idea of what the 5 constant values are, virtues are. Edison?
No stealing, no.
No, that's 5 precepts.
Those are Buddhist precepts. The constant virtues.
Mm-hmm.
Constant virtues.
Yeah. Benevolence. Okay. Okay. Righteousness, propriety, wisdom, and also the last one is sincerity, or sometimes we say it's trust. Okay. Yeah, trust or faith. Okay. Okay. How do I do this? Okay. Well, first thing first, Confucius said, okay, well, I tried to group all these messages. They are all together more than 100 mentions of 君子. 君子actually, it can literally translation is the son of a king or so it's someone from nobility. But in Annelids, 君子 has two references. Number one, it can be someone who is in like an emperor or one who is in the leading position, and the other is one with high virtue. Okay, so I try to group them. It's not a very no, it's not very clear I'm really under much time pressure. Okay, first thing first, Confucius said, so the master here refers to Confucius, okay? Only one who does not recognize the ordinances of heaven does not qualify to be a superior man or a noble man, okay? So one of the prerequisites to be called a noble person is one who really recognizes, who knows heaven's mandate. Okay. Now, when we talk about this, the ordinances of the heaven, I think it has two connotations. First one is that we know that's heaven's mandate. We also talk about that in the Dharma class, that we all have a mandate from heaven, from God, to be living, and also to be also spreading the truth. Okay. The other connotation is that we have to know that there's the law of causality. Okay, that's a very important concept, because a person who does not believe in causality would do anything he wants to satisfy his or her own desire, to favor himself without regard for others. Okay, so this is very important. So one of the lesson I also learned from the temple is that the law of causality. Even Buddhas and saints or bodhisattva, they are also subject to the law of causality. Of course, for Buddha at that level, he has unwavering heart, and his Buddha nature is so prominent in him. So there's no way that he can wave. He will wave. Okay, but for anyone, sometimes we might be very influenced by the circumstances, and we kind of sway once in a while. Okay, but I know even Buddhas in a sense do not exist. Law of causality still are there, and so I think this is something that I keep. Well, it can be something that to discipline myself, and I also try to share this with others. If we do believe in the causality, then we will be very careful with what we do, what we say, and even what we think, because our thought is an energy. Although no one's watching, but what's going here in our mind kind of sends up a signal, an energy. And remember that saying, what goes around comes around. So this is no kidding, okay? Yeah. So to be a true gentleman or a true noble person, one has to believe in heaven's mandate, okay? That's important. And then, okay, so this is the little girl, Catherine Kamal. She was 7, but I think that was year 2007. So they were able to raise so much money for the countries in Africa.
I think she actually sold her own toys and her clothes to make money for it too.
Oh, okay.
Japanese guy. He wrote her a letter and was like, your story is so moving, that he donated money to her. He was a really poor man, but donated everything he had. And then she didn't know his address, so she couldn't send him a thank you note. So she just donated everything that he gave her.
Yeah. They also make some holiday, crafts, hand
Ornament.
ornaments. And when somebody buys that ornament, then they would, write down something like, this money is an like contribution from the buyer. Yeah. So I mean, they are very intelligent, in how they raise the fund for the course. Okay, now the second one is the definition of a noble person. As you can see, the red letters, it says benevolence, wisdom, and courage. And this actually was defined by Confucius in his conversation or his intercourse with his disciple. So this is that it goes, the master said, a noble person who embodies the Tao has three virtues. But he said, I fall short on all three accounts, or all the three virtues. The wise are not confused. The human are not anxious. The brave are not afraid. And then Zigong, which is also a very important disciple of Confucius, said, this is master's way. Actually, Zigong is complimenting his master. He actually demonstrates all the three virtues in him. Okay, but he's being very humble and Confucius being humble and modest. Okay, so for a person to be a noble person, one has to have the three qualities. The first one is benevolence, kindness, the altruism, okay, and also kind consideration for others. For example, for a son to be filial to parents, a child to be filial to parents, that's considered benevolence, okay, and Catherine, that's also a very good example of benevolence. Okay, actually, benevolence, this concept is a very important concept in Confucianism. Almost in all Confucius teaching, you will see, you can read between lines, his upholding this, benevolence, because this is really the foundation of humanity, of being a human. It's benevolence can also termed humanity, and this is what distinguishes human being from all other animals. Okay. And the second one is wisdom. Okay. Now, this wisdom, we are not talking about being book smart or street smart. Okay. This is the high level, I would say, the supreme wisdom, which allows us to improve ourselves, to perfect ourselves, as well as perfect others. So we not only ferry ourselves, we also try to ferry people to the land of we say truth, or say in Buddhism they say to the other shore. And one of the important purpose or goal in our cultivation is also to develop our supreme wisdom, the heavenly wisdom. It's not just a skill set or some knowledge that will get us by in this human world. It's something that we really allow us to progress, to really soar spiritually. Like to share an story. American people are very familiar with a dish called General Tao chicken, right? Yeah. Okay. This story has to do with this 左宗棠 General Tao. Okay. Yeah, he was a general or marshal in Qing dynasty, which is probably the last dynasty in China. He was very good at playing chess. Of course, he was also very good at leading people to fight battles. So one day he came to a place and he saw on in front of a store a plaque, or we say a big board, and it says #1 chess player in the world. Okay, he happens to be also a good chess player, so he went in and look out for the person who claimed to be the #1 chess player, and so they got into a contest, and that other chess player knew he was the General Zhao, and he also, so they play chess, and I think 3 rounds, that person lost to General Tao. And so General Tao was so, very proud. And he said, oh, it's time you remove the board, okay? Yeah. And then he went on, it happened that afterwards he had to go to a battle. It's a very well-known battle in China history. And he won the war, okay? He won the battle. So after he came back from the battle, he went back to that place to check if the board was removed, and it was still there. So he went into, what he asked the chess player, why didn't you remove the board? So the chess player said, well, who knows? Let's do another round of competition or contest. And guess what? This time, General Tao lost. He lost. But he still didn't want to give in. So he went back another day, and again he lost. So he was wondering how could the person improve his skill in such a short time. Okay, but then this person told him he knew he was General Tao and he was going into battle. And so it's very important to build his self-esteem, right, before he goes. Self-confidence, yeah. And, so this is wisdom, right? And this is something we also have to, use in our daily life. Sometimes for the good of the, big crowd, big picture, it doesn't matter that sometimes we allow ourselves to be in a lower position. We take some loss, okay? This is one thing. And it's also, you have to be able to adapt to any circumstances. We learn all this Dharma, but it does not mean that we just apply it to the letter. We still have to make adjustment, according to the circumstances. We have the 3 purity, right? 三清四正, and 4 propers. Like there should be a clear separation between gentlemen and ladies. But sometimes, people took it, too rigidly. There was a Dao member in Taiwan. Once he had to, drive a female member home, but there would be only him and the lady, right? But he said, oh no, I'm not going to do that. She's a female. I'm not supposed to ride in the same car with a lady. Now this is not real wisdom. This is being dogmatic, right? Yeah. Okay. Just a few examples. Now the third one is courage. Okay, courage. Again, this is not the power against the weak or the underprivileged. It's our courage to maybe admit our own shortcoming, to admit our own fault. It also means our courage to ride against the tide, like the general public are doing something and they're not doing the right thing, but we have the courage to go against the tide, to do the right thing, although we will be in the minority. Okay, and also the courage to do something to save other people. And a very good example is our loyalty and righteousness immortal, Zhongyi Daxian. He's a Dao member of the temple, of our temple. And during the 9/11 attack, during the 9/11 attack, he was working in one of the Twin Towers. He was already in the elevator cart. Then he saw his co-worker, who is a lady, pregnant. And there's no extra space in the cart. He just walked out elevator. Yeah. So he had no. Well, that's what the lady told us when she attended his funeral. He just gave up his spot, and no elevator came up afterwards. Yeah, so I remember when I think we shared about the story earlier, and quite a few of us was, if it were me, would I do it, without any hesitation? Okay, so this is big courage. Okay. So these are the three qualities that we need to develop, we need to be, to have in order to be able to make an impact in our, environment, in our community, to really, lead by role model. Okay, always bear these three virtues in mind. Okay. Let me see what's that. Okay, now the next one, Christine, can you read the English?
Was asked about the qualities of a noble man. The preacher said he cultivates himself in the spirit of respect so as to put others at ease. Is that all? He cultivates himself to put everyone at ease. Now this is something that he can yell and to understand. Sounds difficult.
Okay, so what is the central message in this paragraph? It's being respectful, right? Being respectful, and when we have a respectful attitude towards people, then we can put people at ease. We can we don't to put it another way, if we are not respectful, we are being what is that word, antagonist. Yeah, then people will be uneasy, and this is a very important, because like Confucius said, this even Yao and Sun, they are two of the most virtuous emperors in Chinese history. Even they found it difficult, but to practice this respectfulness. So it's being respectful is also a very important virtue, very important quality to have as a human person. Okay. Okay. Now the next one is again about Ren. I guess I would do it fast, otherwise I'll never be able to finish. Okay. Carrie, please, can you read the next? Ren, yeah. Courteous.
Italicize the word when it's not. You have to italicize it. I italicized it and copied it out.
Thank you. Okay. Ren being a very important virtue or quality, yeah, because when we have this benevolence, then outward we will have respect for people, and we will be very sincere, very serious about what we do, and we also will be very loyal to people. Okay, so again, the first one is G. Okay, G. We are courteous. We are being respectful in our daily conduct. Okay, so this is talking about what we do inward. Okay, internal cultivation. Because we have this benevolence. Okay, so we will be very careful with how we behave. Okay, but on the outside, we will be very serious or very we are very being very attentive to things that we have to do, like at work. If you are a student, then you are very attentive to your study or your homework, and then we are sincere to people. Okay, these are all the outward profession of this benevolence. So if a person is benevolent or in this kind, then naturally he would be doing that on the outside. Okay. Now this the quality that even we go to a place of barbarity. Okay. Now in Confucius' time, people from the north were considered to be more civilized because that's where we said Yangtze River is the mother river where the civilization of China grew. Okay, and so people from the north consider to be more civilized, while in the south considered to be more authentic. What is that word? Exotic, right? Exotic, or and they also they thought it was like more barbarous. Okay, yeah. And so Confucius said these are the qualities that we have to really carry out, apply in our conduct, even we go to such places. Okay. Well, in other words, it means that has to be what 24/7. It has to be with us all the time, every second, right? Okay. Um, okay. The next one, Evelyn, please. Okay, now we know what a noble person is in Confucius' idea. Now we talk about, the goal of a noble person. Okay, the first one is that a noble person should set the aspirations on the way, or we say on the Tao. So it means that we have to really have our mind on cultivating ourselves in helping to propagate the truth, to spread the truth, and also in bringing about the best person in other people. Okay, so everything that has to do with the propagation of the Tao, that's our goals and our aspirations should be. Okay, so this is a very, very lofty and very, very far-reaching goal. Okay, we all have a long way to go, but if we just walk step by step, someday we'll go there. We'll be there. Okay. Now the second one is the master said when a noble person eats, he does not try to. I think I changed, right? Yeah, he's not concerned with what he eats. And at rest, he does not seek perfect comfort. Okay, so it doesn't mean that, we have to go hungry or we have to dress in rags. Okay, but it just means that we don't really care, what we eat. Like, we can just eat very plain, multi-grain rice, and vegetables. We don't have to always go out to restaurant and eat, those sumptuous meals. Or when we dress, we don't have to dress name brand. We just dress neatly, right? Properly. Okay, we don't have to always wear name brand. And, remember, I don't know if you also read this story about Mark Zuckerberg. People thought why he was always wearing that, crew neck, right? T-shirt, yeah. He actually responded. He said, when he buys, a T-shirt, he always buy a dozen. He said, this way, every day, I don't have to even think about what I want to wear. This way, I can focus my energy and my time on something more meaningful. That's very true. Well, I also have this problem. Sometimes I don't know what to wear today, and it really drains some of our energy.
On Sunday.
No, I'm talking about just on the weekdays, right? Yeah. And as we know, he's also driving very plain, cars. Yeah. So he's someone we can also learn from. Okay. And also when we are living, we don't have to live in a big mansion. Just a place to protect us from the weather, right? From the elements. Yeah. Rather, we should really spend more of our time and invest more of our energy in helping people. And this is the way of Buddha. And this is how they can become enlightened and how they can really, win respect of generations, right? So many generations.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Warren Buffett, how rich the person is. He still live in his old house.
Yeah.
The house he was raised in.
Right?
Yeah. He's driving an old Oldsmobile.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right.
Very humble.
He can have anything he wants in this lifetime.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right? But he donated all his money to charity, Bill Gates Foundation, right?
Right. Okay. I'm sorry you don't have time to, have much discussion, but maybe next week. Okay. uh, okay, this is again is talking about the lofty goal. Let me see. That's who's next? Monique, can you read, please?
The master said, the noble man is not insensible.
The next one, please.
The noble man is concerned about following the way and is not concerned about avoiding poverty.
Okay. Well, the second one is almost the same as what we just talked about in the previous slide. Yeah. Now, the first one is something I like to talk more. The gentleman or the nobleman is not a utensil. Okay. We know a utensil can we say perform certain task. Yeah, has only one function. Yeah, it's very limited. But a true gentleman should be what we call versatile, multi-talented, right? And he also should not limit his ability to just one area. And I think just like what we were discussing in our previous class, that we should not be really confining ourselves to, just like this place or that place, this, dimension or that dimension. So if we set our goal higher, then we want to be more helpful. Then we will develop our ability, from in all dimensions. Okay. Now, for example, in the temple, if we can do a lot of help with a lot of temple duties, then sometimes, like on Sunday afternoon when everybody leaves and we have people coming to receive the blessing, then a person can do the certificate, can prepare the fruits and offerings, can also explain the Tao to people, and later on after in the ceremony they can also help staff the ceremony by doing the offering, being the conductor or director of the ceremony, and after that it's explanation of the three treasures. Yeah, because usually after everyone leaves, there would be only a few people, and I know a lot of times like lecture Tai and lecture Lin, transmitter Lord's husband, they were the only one here, so they have to be able to do a lot of things. But that's something we also should expect of us. Okay, because if we really set our mind in the Tao's propagation, one day we all have to go out to pioneer in other place, okay? And we cannot ask for so many people to go along with us, right? So we have to be able to do everything, okay? Yeah. So and also at work too, if we can do a lot more things, then we can be more helpful. Yeah. Okay. Huh? Okay, so this is talking about our aspiration. Let me see, Edison.
The master said, set your aspiration on the way things yourself. For virtue, rely on your breath. The steady,
Sati. On the and as to creating the Tao, our foundation should be on the what? Again, on the Tao, and also on the benevolence. Okay. Buddhas and saints also said, whenever we do things, we have to first make sure that we are doing the right thing. Okay, if we do not have the right foundation, we do not have the right goal, and we are doing things very fast, then that will set us away from the Tao, so far away. A tiny little mistake can create a very, very, bad situation. Okay, so foundation and a right aspiration is very important. But in actually carrying out or fulfilling our goal, we also have to benevolence. Okay, one is 游于义. Okay, because nowadays people are so informed, they have so much information, and people have higher demands. Okay, so in the past, people I remember, we were very content with just learning the truth, the principles, but not all people are satisfied, content with just that. Sometimes we have to use what we call maybe expedient dharma, or we can use all different kinds of activities or different formats to keep people interested in the subject or in what we are doing. And that's why Confucius also encouraged his disciples to be versatile in I think he says 6 arts, right? I think one is writing, 6 arts, writing, and let me see, music, yeah, what, archery,
Poetry.
poetry, yeah.
I think so.
Thank you. Yeah, I think I have it somewhere. Paint.
Is it painting?
Oh, yeah. There's also the shooting, horse riding, a book,
Horse riding.
book, and also arithmetic, math.
Math.
Yeah. Okay, but that's for his
During
time.
his time.
Yeah. There's
For accounting.
and there's there's a very famous Zen master. It was a she, 永固法师 in a Buddha-like temple. She also encouraged her disciples or members to be very well versed in literature, in different religion and things like that. Because when we meet with people, they might come from very different culture, very different religious background, and so in order for us to have establish that relationship or that affinity, then we have to speak their language. This is what we call the expedient dharma. And some people, we can just tell them something very simple. But with people who are very educated, who has scientific background, it's good that you also become a little bit of scientific. So you can have something in common to talk about, to start the relationship. Okay. Is it almost time? Okay. Benevolence. Yeah, I'm sorry. I probably should translate. Yeah.
Just that, but it includes that. I mean, that's why they use them as opposed to use the English word, because it's.
Okay. I think I'm going to just stop here and continue next week.